Hey there, Organic Slant. How's it going? I've been reading a lot into nuclear waste within the United Kingdom lately, and I found some pretty shocking information about dumping of over 28,000 barrels of nuclear waste into the Irish Sea, which a majority of them have corroded and leaked their content. But some more shocking information I found is something I never knew about. I currently live in Calwyn Bay on the coastline of North Wales, and we are 180 miles away from a place called Sellafield, which has a pipeline pumping nuclear waste directly into the sea. There has been a large rise in children with cancer around the coastlines, and contamination has been detected as far away as Norway. Anyway, I'll get to the point why I'm emailing you. We have currently had a new water sports center built on the seafront and a new man-made beach, and this is my concern. All the sand used to make the new beaches has been pumped up from the bottom of the Irish Sea, and no contamination or radiation levels have been checked at all. I'm currently trying to find someone with a good Geiger counter who I can send small samples of sand taken from the new beach, and so we could see the radiation level and compare it against our normal radiation level we already have on our natural beaches. Hope to hear from you soon. I've sent 4 samples from different areas of the beach first class yesterday for you. They should be with you in around 5 days. I've labeled them 1 through 4. Sample 1 is from the natural beach. Sample 2 is from between rocks on the natural beach, as I'd imagine the radioactive particles may build up there. Sample 3 is from the surface of the new man-made beach, and sample 4 is from 30 centimeters down below the surface of the new beach. Do you have an email address I could send you a marked photo pointing out where the samples were picked from? Sample 2 and 4 are the ones I'm most interested in. Looking forward to hearing the results. First of all, what is Sellafield? The Sellafield site is home to a wide range of interdependent nuclear facilities and operations. These range from hazard and risk reduction, decommissioning, reprocessing, and nuclear waste management. The Sellafield site has been operational since the 1940s when it was used as a Royal Ordnance factory supporting the war effort and the National Defense Program. The factory was constructed to inspect and package small arms ammunition. In 1947, the site was announced as the new atomic energy site, and work began on the construction of the Windscale piles and its 2 air-cooled reactors. By March of 1952, the Windscale reactors were in operation producing plutonium for military purposes. These were distinguished by their very tall chimneys. In the same year, the first active operation of the plant to separate uranium and plutonium from the used fuel from the Windscale reactors became operational. All the work on the site up to the mid-1950s was in support of military programs. However, the peaceful use of nuclear energy was an issue at the forefront of world affairs at that time, and coincidentally, the first commercial nuclear power reactors in the world were commissioned at Calder Hall, Sellafield. In 1952, the decision was made to build a commercial-sized nuclear power station to harness the heat, which in the Windscale pile reactors was simply released up the ventilation stacks. Construction of the power station commenced in 1953, and only 4 years later, on October 17, 1956, Her Majesty the Queen opened Reactor 1 at Calder Hall. 3 more reactors followed, and they were successfully operated until 2003, after nearly 46 years of electricity generation. In the mid-1950s, commercial opportunities were recognized, and the United Kingdom Atomic Energy Production Group was charged with identifying markets for the sale of nuclear reactors, fuel enrichment, fuel manufacture, and irradiated fuel reprocessing. From the 1990s onward, Sellafield began constructing a comprehensive suite of waste management facilities to treat and dispose of waste arising from the commercial and decommissioning operations of reprocessing. 2005 saw the ownership of Sellafield transferred to the Nuclear Commissioning Authority, along with all other civil nuclear sites in the United Kingdom. The NDA oversee the operations and decommissioning work at Sellafield. The history of the Windscale fire. The Windscale fire of October 10, 1957 was the worst nuclear accident in Great Britain's history, ranked in severity at level 5 on the 7-point scale. The fire took place in Unit 1 of the two-pile Windscale facility on the northwest coast of England in Cumberland, now Sellafield, Cumbria. The two piles had been hurriedly built as part of the British atomic bomb project. Windscale Pile Number 1 was operational in 1950, followed by Pile 2 in June of 51. The fire burned for 3 days, and there was a release of radioactive contamination that spread across the United Kingdom and Europe. Of particular concern at the time was a radioactive isotope, iodine-131, which may lead to cancer of the thyroid, and it has been estimated that the incident caused 240 additional cancer cases. No one was evacuated from the surrounding area, but there was a worry that the milk might be dangerously contaminated. Milk from about 500 square kilometers of the nearby countryside was diluted or destroyed for about a month. With new research in 2007 published by the Atmospheric Environment, new research claims the incident generated twice as much more radioactive material than previously thought. So I believe that there should be probably some concern about this sand and whether it is safe to use or whether it has or contains any radiation whatsoever. That whole area obviously has been polluted, and it may have been 50 years ago, but they've been doing a lot of nuclear work at the site ever since. Alright, first of all, let me show you on a globe the area that I'm talking about. It's the United Kingdom. So that's Europe right there. So we want to zoom in right over here, the United Kingdom. So just east of Liverpool, there's right above the E here, right on the coastline, that's Colwyn Bay. Now Sellafield is right below the K here, along the coast here. It's right across this Isle of Man. Now, there's a lot of discharge and probably even runoff from the contamination of Sellafield. So I wouldn't doubt if this whole body of water is contaminated and it's washing up on the beaches. Well, the case here is the sand is being dredged from the bottom of this body of water and is being used for beaches. Now, where this resort is, I have no clue. I would imagine it's somewhere along the coastline here. Alright, January 2nd, 2015, and I'm going to do the four sand samples. First I'm going to do a background reading before I test them and after. I used to just do after, so I'm curious if they'll be the same. And what I'm doing them on is this sheet. I stacked about 2 inches of paper so I could shield, at least get a clean bottom. January 2nd, 2015, and this is a background reading on the 4 sand samples, 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 3,316 total counts, 6 max data point, and the average data point is 0.55. Alright, this test I'm going to actually take them out of the plastic container, the plastic bag, and this is bag number 1. Alright, this is bag number 1, January 2nd, 2015. This is bag 1, sand, 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 3,804 total counts, 5 max data point, average data point is 0.63. Definitely above background. Here's bag 2. I'm going to open bag 2 up now. There's bag 2. January 2nd, 2015, bag 2 of the sand sample, 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds. It's 3,840 total counts. 5 is the max data point. Average data point is 0.64. Bag 3. Alright, the third one is done. January 2nd, 2015, and this is the third sample of sand. 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 3,673. 5 is the max data point. 0.61 is the average data point. Number 4. January 3rd, 2015, and this is the fourth bag of sand. January 3rd, 2015, and this is the fourth bag of sand. 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 3,548 total counts. 5 max data point, average data point is 0.59. Now there was a lot of radiation contamination from this accident, and I'll show you exactly kind of where the highest concentration of radiation was. Well, that would be like right over here. That's where the highest concentration levels of the radiation was. But it spread all over east, up and through Sweden for medium level contamination. And actually low level radiation went all the way up and through here, even in through Poland. So there was a lot of land affected by this accident. So I wish it was as easy as to just wipe it all away, like it wasn't even there. You may not see it, but it's going to be there for a long time to go. Today is January 16th, 2015, and I'm finally getting around to doing more tests on the sand here. This test I'm going to do it without the bags though. That's number 1. Number 2. That's number 3. And that's number 4. Alright, this is the test that I should have did in the first place without the plastic bag. So there'll be 2 tests, but this is the first bag, number 1. January 16th, 2015 is the first bag of sand. 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 3,864 total counts. 6 is the max data point. Average data point is 0.64. Alright, this is the second sample of the sand, the natural beach sand that was in between the rock crevices. January 16th, 2015, and this is the second sample. 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 4,160 total counts. 5 is the max data point, and 0.69 is the average data point. Alright, this is test 3, which is the sand off the beach. January 16th, 2015, and this is the sand, the third sample. 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 3,690 total counts. 5 is the max data point, and 0.62 is the average data point. Alright, this is sample number 4 of the sand 30 centimeters down below the surface. January 16th, 2015, and this is the fourth sample of sand 30 centimeters below the surface. 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 3,633 counts. 6 is the max data point, 0.61 is the average data point. Alright, here is the background reading on the stack of papers. January 16th, 2015, and this is the background reading for the sand samples. 100 minutes, 6,000 seconds, 3,263 total counts. 4 is the max data point, and the average data point is 0.54. Alright, here is a side note. If you've been watching some of the videos, you'll know that the average data point used to be 0.50. That was because now I'm in a temporary location that is different than my original laboratory. So it seems like it's been 0.54 is what it has been lately in this new location. Alright, here are the 4 samples. Number 1, this is the natural sand. Number 2, this is the natural sand between the crevices. Number 3, this is the sample of the beach sand that's at the resort. And this pile is off that same area, but 30 centimeters below the surface. Alright, this is the third test with the gamma spectrometer, but this time this is the background. It's an empty container. This is the background reading. So we need something to base the other tests off of to compare. Alright, this is the background right there with just the plastic container. So we got to compare the other sand samples to see if something gets picked up. Alright, this is the first sample, sample number 1 of the sand. And that's the first spectrum. Alright, this is the second sand sample. The sand between the crevices. And there is the spectrum. The beach. Alright, this is sand sample 3, which is the sand from the beach. The man-made beach. And there's the spectrum for sample 3. Alright, this is sand sample number 4, which is the 30 centimeters down below the beach. And here's the spectrum for the 4th sample. My conclusion on the beach sand is, if you look at the backgrounds are, I did the two, 0.55, 0.54, that's pretty consistent. Definitely the sand is radioactive. Now, I can't identify it as a gamma ray because I think all those spectrums look the same. So I only have the equipment that I have. I do believe there is some radiation in it. Is it a norm, a naturally occurring radiological material? I have no idea. But with all the pollution and runoff from Sellafield and the nuclear waste that was dumped at the bottom of the sea over there, I do believe some of it is washing on the shores and in the beaches. Okay, here's my quick observation, and hopefully you could maybe leave your own comments to your own theories. I definitely believe that the sand is radioactive. It's above the background. The natural sand is the highest, especially the ones from the crevice. But the reasoning behind the resort sands being the cleanest is possibly because they do look like they're finer. They're probably cleaned. I bet you any money they're washed with some kind of, not a sandblaster, but they're definitely rinsing and sifting the sand that's at the resort. They're smaller pieces. So definitely that's, I think, my theory why the sand at the resorts, which would be number 3 and 4, would be lower than the natural sand. That's my take. What's yours? Background, beach sand. Background, beach sand. Background, beach sand. Background, beach sand.